What if the biggest shift you could make in your life wasn't about working harder, doing more, or chasing new goals, but simply about changing your frequency? Because here's the truth: everything in your life, your relationships, your money, opportunities, your health, all of it is responding to the frequency that you're broadcasting. Shift your frequency, shift your life. So, today I'm going to break down what frequency really is, why it shapes your reality, and give you three practical tips to raise your vibration quickly. All right. Of course, one of those tips is going to include how the Akashic Records can help you stay aligned. So, welcome to Soul Aligned Living. I'm Dr. Toya Davis, spiritual teacher, author, founder of Chi Healing Institute. My work blends science and spirituality to help you live a life that lights you up from the inside out. If you're new here, I would love for you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you are not new, welcome back. Hit the like button and share this with someone you think could use this message today. All right, so let's start with the basics. Frequency. Frequency is just the rate at which energy vibrates, right? So let me take a step back first. You all know that I believe, not even I believe, we all know that everything is energy, right? And so once we can wrap our mind around and start to frame things and look at things from the belief and the knowing that everything is energy, like we start to get this kind of compounding understanding of how we are able to shift things because we can absolutely shift and change energy. All right. So frequency is the rate at which energy vibrates. Everything in existence, every thought, every emotion, every object carries a vibration. Okay. Think of it like a radio station. The universe is broadcasting infinite frequencies at once, right? Love, joy, peace, abundance are all on one station. Then there's fear, shame, guilt, scarcity. They're all on another station, right? All of these things are being broadcasted. You can't listen to two stations at the same time, right? So we can't be on the station for abundance and be on the scarcity for I mean see it and be on the station for scarcity. Okay? You have to tune into one or the other. So when we're talking about what frequency are you vibrating at, think of that, right? Think of I can only vibrate at at this one particular thing. I can only listen to one radio station at the time. So if I'm saying I want abundance, want abundance, but I'm vibrating or I'm tapped into, I'm tuned into the station and the frequency of scarcity, how do those two things work out? All right. One of my favorite books is this book called Power versus Force. I was trying to say The Power of Now. I was like, that's not right. Power versus Force by, what's his name? I can't remember. David Hawkins. David Hawkins. And in this book, he creates a map of consciousness and he assigns measurable frequencies to different emotions. So shame and guilt vibrate at lower levels, love, joy, peace vibrate at higher levels. Why I like this is because it gives you kind of a visual of how you can move through particular frequencies, right? And again, it validates this idea that these emotions that we carry are sending out these various frequencies, these various signals, okay? And so understanding that helps you to really just tap into understanding that your frequency determines your perception, which leans into your decisions, right? And then ultimately your reality. So when you're at a low frequency, let's say fear or self doubt, because you're sending that out, the thing that comes back has to be a match to the thing that you've sent out. So if I'm sending out fear and self doubt, what's going to come back to me is what? Fear and self doubt. You start to notice more obstacles, you feel unsupported, you attract relationships that reinforce those emotions because that's what we're sending out. And there's a whole science behind it. We're not going to go into that. That part isn't necessary. But understanding that that is the big picture of kind of what's happening, right? The signal you're sending out is the thing that has to be responded to. So when you shift into a higher frequency, love, gratitude, empowerment, the opportunities start to appear because now that is the thing that the beacon is looking for, right? The beacon is looking for the things that match the frequencies that you're sending out. Okay? And this isn't, like I'm saying, this isn't just me just talking about these are actually like studied facts. You can study, really, you can study neuroscience, you can look at things that study the brain, all of this stuff, and it'll help you like be like, oh no, she's not just up here talking about anything, right? So neuroscience shows us that our brain literally filters information based on our emotional state. So if your dominant vibration is stress, your brain looks for evidence of stress. If it's gratitude, your brain starts highlighting what's working. Your frequency is your filter. Change the filter, change the reality itself. I always like to think about this. It's like people use the example of like the red car, right? It's like you never, or you didn't know this because the red car was there all the time, right? Yeah, I was about to go down the science rabbit hole, pulling it back. The red car was there all the time, but let's say you had not thought about the red car. Then somebody comes and says, "Ooh, I'm really thinking about getting a red car, a red." I was about to say Toyota Tercel. Oh my gosh, a red Toyota Tercel. Let's go with that, right? I want to get a red Toyota Tercel. I saw one, a used red Toyota Tercel. And you're like, gosh, I haven't seen a Tercel in ages, right? Now all of a sudden you're out in the world and you're like, oh wait, there's a Tercel. Wait, dang, I'm on the highway. There's a Tercel. And then you start seeing all of these red cars. Why? Because you're now the part of the thing that you've put into your system, right? Says that you are, this thing has come into your awareness. And so this frequency now that aligns with this Tercel, this red, somebody wants a red Toyota Tercel, it came into your perception, it came into your awareness. And so now the opportunities to experience that are showing up. Were those things not there before? Absolutely not. They've existed all the time, right? We didn't just drop into a world where now you're noticing the Tercels because they appeared. They were there. You just didn't notice them because that's not what you were looking for. So the same things happen with our emotion, with our emotional state and the vibration and the frequency that we are emitted from that thing, right? So if we are in the state of being depressive, right? If we're in the state of being depressive, that is the energy that we are pulling in this life. So now we're seeing everything through that lens. Everything is being filtered through that lens. All right. So here are three practices that you can use right now. Awareness reset. Number one, take a minute to notice your state. Ask yourself, what frequency am I broadcasting right now? Y'all know for me, everything always starts with awareness. So this is no different, right? Awareness breaks the automatic cycle and it creates the space to shift. We cannot change what we cannot name. Okay. So coming into awareness of something allows you to be able to put yourself in the space to be proactive, to be able to start to make shifts. The second way to shift your frequency fast is an embodied shift. Move your body. Dance, stretch, shake, walk outside. Physical movement dislodges stuck energy and instantly raises your vibration. Okay. Literally, it does that, right? There's whole somatic practices around this, but you can put on, I think I told y'all before, my favorite is soca music. I like, there is not a bad mood yet that has been able to withstand the energy of soca, right? I will turn it on and I have a hula hoop. I will turn it on. I will give myself like two songs to hula hoop, you know, with it because a lot of our emotions and stuff also kind of get stuck in our sacral and our root. And so I find that the hula hoop or being actively focusing on that and making myself do that really gets a lot of things kind of moving for me. And even just like that, how I just sit here and started shaking, right? All of those things can help. So embodied shift. And then the third one is the Akashic alignment. So when opening your Akashic records, for me, I can see the patterns behind the frequency, right? So, but that's me. You can go in there and you can just simply ask, right? What what frequency am I broadcasting right now, right? What energetic state am I aligning with? What energy is leading right now, right? Whatever term or terminology feels comfortable for you. The idea is you want to try to get to understand what energy you were in so that you can start to shift it. Okay. And then past that, though, because that's still in our kind of state of awareness, once you're in the Akashic Records, you could then start to understand why you keep tuning into that particular frequency, right? Why are you landing on that wrong station consistently? And then how to realign um, or align with a different frequency or a different vibration, right? So while in the records, you can come into awareness, you can come into awareness of what the frequency is, you can come into awareness of why it exists, of how to shift it, and then take the necessary steps to be able to shift and change that vibration. All right. So I want to say this, right? Frequency isn't about like, or we're not trying to create this false reality that, all of a sudden now you're going to be in this high vibe state 24/7. Hashtag goals, right? But life has rhythm, right? And all emotions are valid. So this isn't about like, I remember, oh, maybe it was a few weeks ago. I can't remember. Recently, within the last month, I was definitely going through a period of like, ugh, right, all of the things. And I had a coaching call, not where I was providing coaching, but where I go for coaching. And, she was like, what's going on? I was like, yeah, I don't know. I've just been really in this space. It's really difficult for me to do all of the things like, and the challenge for me is because I understand all of these things when I get in these spots, my ability of like analysis in the moment um is so fast. So it's like I get frustrated when I can't shift as fast as I want to shift. But at the end of this coaching call, I was like, you know what? I've acknowledged where I am. And no, she said, so what are you going to do? That's what she said. So what are you going to do? And I said, you know what? I've acknowledged where I am. I'm going to give myself until, so I think our coaching calls are on Tuesday. Yeah, our coaching calls are on a Tuesday. I said, I'm going to give myself until Thursday, the end of day Thursday, to just be in this feeling, right? To do nothing, to allow myself to be in this space. And then Friday morning, I'm up and we're doing something different, right? On Friday, I'm releasing this and we're moving on. And that's exactly what I did, right? I didn't try to barrel through and because I had tried that the week before and it just didn't feel good. It was making me feel worse. And I think what happens sometimes is we don't allow ourselves to sit in the feeling. But then I come here to challenge you and say, like, you can't live in that, right? You can't live in the particular frequency that is not about getting you to the best and highest version of yourself, right? Do we land in those sometimes? Absolutely, yes, because life, right? But our goal is to have the tools, to have the wherewithal, to have the awareness to be able to say, okay, wait a minute, this thing that I'm vibrating in, this energy, this frequency that I'm vibrating in. And this is exactly what was happening with me. It was like I recognize, so my internal dialogue that I'm sharing publicly, right? My internal dialogue was like, you are vibrating at this frequency. And because you're vibrating at this frequency, you can't get the shifts that you want because what you're broadcasting is this. So, in order for you to shift, you have to change what you're broadcasting. So, even when people were like, what's going on, like, I didn't want to lean into or feed into, like, this is where I am because I recognize that it can become a self duplicating or replicating cycle, right? So, so her asking me that question of, so what are you going to do? I mean, it was literally that simple, was the break and the thing that I needed, which is why coaching is important, right? Because sometimes we can't see even though we can see, we need that other push or that other spark to help us get out of something. But in this understanding that what we send out is what we get back. And if you stay in loops of like, okay, wait, why am I keep getting the same thing? Why is everything rejection? Why is my love life keep being like this? You really have to say, okay, what energy am I sending out? Right? What energy am I sending out? Am I buying into the belief that, oh, all the men are bad? Oh, this is going to be bad. Oh, when I go out on this date, this is going to be horrible. Oh, this phone call is going to be dreaded. Oh, my goodness, when I go out, I'm not going to have a good time. Right? Are you leaning into that, or are you leaning into, you know what? Everywhere I go, I'm the life of the party. Right? Even if it's just me and me, I've had an amazing time. Right? Or is that the energy that you're putting out? Because what happens once the vibration and the frequency that we send out goes out, the thing that comes back has to match it. Okay. But going back to what I said in the beginning, we can't listen to two radio stations at the same time. So we can't send out the false, like we can't send out the false vibration, right? The universe doesn't respond to the false vibration. And that's why for myself, I had to say, I don't have enough in me to authentically shift where I am right now, right? I would be sending out these mixed signals. I used to say all the time, the universe never says no, but it does says wait. And so if we're sending out two signals, sometimes the universe is like, wait a minute, I don't know which one of these I should be responding to. So I'm going to chill until you figure it out. And then something is clear and then I'm going to act, right? Um, so that's that. So big picture overview, right? Once we can change our frequency, we can change our life. The first step is coming into awareness of what we're actually sending out so that we can start to be clear about what is coming back. Okay. If you find yourself in a space that you're not happy with, we can move into our embodied shift, right? Which is just using movement to begin to shift the energy that is within us. Particularly, I love touch, right? So, touching spaces on the body to kind of help move and shift energy out of the space. And then using our Akashic Records to go in and understand the deeper meaning of kind of what's there, why it's there, what is it there to teach us and to show us, okay? Um, so, I would love to hear which of these practices you're going to try. You can let me know in the comments. If you have not already, I would love for you to like the video. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to do that as well. Tell a friend, share the story. In the comments or in the description below are links to some free resources. Feel free to check those out. And then lastly, we're in retreat season, right? So I have 3 retreats that are coming up. One is to right outside of Atlanta, December 5th through the 7th, the Power Within, Embodying Your Soul's Blueprint retreat, which is all about tapping in, digging in, understanding who and how you are, and clearing the energy and the frequencies and the vibrations of things that are not aligned with you getting to the best and highest version of yourself, understanding really who you are at soul level, so that you can walk and chart a path that is full of alignment. The next one is in Salvador, Brazil. We did this one last year, Rooted in Freedom. An amazing experience. This one is one we're exploring the culture of Salvador, looking at all of the things, but this is around ancestral lineage healing. And then Costa Rica, which is July, I think 25th or 26th through August 1st. And that is our soul wellness retreat. So that one is about nourishing the spirit, nourishing the body. That one is really about being in the space of receiving, right? We do Reiki, we do sound healing, things out in nature. So this is all about just being in space. This is that ultimate recharge and reset. The links for all of those are in the description. Love to see you at any of them. We still have a few pay in full bonuses left for each of the trips. So go ahead and sign up. Until next time, remember you deserve to live a life that lights you up from the inside out. Stay aligned, liberated, and abundant.